What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Want to do my vlog for Monday, and I want to talk about something that's been a very controversial issue here lately, and it's these things, masks. Mine says keep calm, stay 6 feet away. Now, what I want to talk about is a lot of things, of course, but currently, we in North Carolina are under a statewide mandate for wearing masks, and we are also under curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. every day for just curfew. You have to be home between the hours of 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. essentially is what they're saying, unless you're taking care of essential things like going for food or medicines, or if you're going for hospital care and whatnot like that. So that's currently what's going on in North Carolina. My main concern being that I'm a person that has been on both sides. I've had COVID and now I'm recovered from COVID. I would say probably in my current state of things right now, I am at 95% recovered. I still battle tinnitus. I've had a shift in my medications and what I'm taking naturally and what I'm doing to help recover. I'm still on vitamin C. I'm taking vitamin D. I'm taking a multivitamin. I'm taking zinc supplements. I am now taking ashwagandha as a recommendation of my mentor and coach and pastor. So I'm doing those things. I have discontinued use of anything that deals with congestion because it seemed to only add to what I was dealing with. So the only thing that I'm still battling as of right now is tinnitus, which is the ringing in my head. Now, with that being said, if you want to go down in my videos, and I'll link them below, that I had COVID-19 in October. I had it for 22 days. I was in isolation. Tested 3 times positive, finally tested negative on the 29th. The CDC recommendations are only that you isolate for 10 days, you have no fever for 3 days, and you be off all kinds of medication for 24 hours, and you are free to go and assimilate with people. Now, with that being said, I did those things, but I still went and took those preventative measures to go get tested again, and they still came back positive 2 other times. After my immediate result and following those guidelines of what the CDC recommends. So, still testing positive, I went back into isolation, continued to medicate, battled the fevers and things like that, waited another 7 days, and then went to get tested again. Basically just repeated the process, essentially. So, with being that I had COVID-19, at the beginning, when I got the results, I called my brother to take my father because my father has a heart condition, he has mental issues that he's heavily medicated for, and he's diabetic, and I didn't need him to be exposed to me or getting the COVID-19 himself. So he was unable to go anywhere, so he stayed with me. So we're in a small apartment, 2-bedroom living unit, and we had to continue to share space while I had COVID-19. So the one good thing that helped at the beginning, I would say, when I was probably really infectious, was the fact that people stepped up and they brought food to me. They brought me soups. They brought food in for my father so I wouldn't have to cook for him and take care of him and everything. And like I said, all of this can be found in my other video. What I really want to get to is this. So the fact that we lived together, we shared a confined small space. Heaters were running, air conditioners were running, depending on how I felt, if it was hot or cold. How is it that a virus that is claimed to be spread by the air and airborne antigens, that in a confined space with one person that is COVID positive, one person that is COVID negative, how is it that is an airborne antigen virus not shared? Explain that to me. Yes, I took precautions. I wore the mask anyway. But then after I got to the 10 days, I stopped wearing the mask because you're not where they consider you have to be in isolation, but I was still COVID positive. So explain that. Personally, now this is me personally, this is not confirmed, has no scientific backing whatsoever, being that I've lived this. I don't think COVID-19 is just spread by airborne antigens from someone who is positive to someone who is negative. There's some other way of transmission. There's just no other way that a person who is COVID positive can share a confined space with shared air ventilations, with shared communal restroom areas, with shared communal kitchen areas, that one has it and the other one doesn't, unless it's not spread the way that it's said to be spread. That's my belief. Now, I am a person that works in the public. I deal with money. I handle people's credit cards. I handle people's checks. But at the time that I got COVID, here's the thing. There was a highly concentrated number of cases in a small area. I live in a larger area where, yes, there is a highly positive rate of cases. But when you've got so many people and they're so far spread out over a large city, you're not on top of each other. When you're in a small confined space where you have little pop spots of many people congregate in certain areas, and the money is spread within a small radius of people, then I would say it is spread by it getting embedded in fibers, getting embedded in things that are communally touched, that are not thought about regularly, that are passed around. Because if it was spread more airborne antigen, then how come my father never got COVID-19? So with the mask mandate and the curfew, that is government legislated, mandatory, required law that we have to follow for X amount of time, that he established. And I think he's established this mandate for probably 2 weeks. So that covers from this past Friday to beyond Christmas, essentially. So what the government is doing is regulating your congregating with family members. They are taking away certain occupations. So they are taking away the rights of institutions who have the right to operate, to forcefully shut them down, because they don't want them to operate in a way that would cause communal spread of said virus. So if they have those feelings, why don't they say the government orders the shutdown of all establishments that sell alcoholic beverages, any establishment that has communal areas of congregation, of dining or service of any kind, needs to be shut down, which is essentially would put us back in phase 1, except for essential businesses would keep going like they've been going, and anything that's deemed non-essential would still be able to keep going, but under modified regulatory statutes. It doesn't make sense. If they wanted those regulations, they should have just said so, instead of making everybody stay home from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. and making it a mandatory mask mandate. Now, all of November, battling post-COVID symptoms, I had bad congestion breathing problems, and I had to wear masks in these facilities that deemed it mandatory, even before the mandate, that you have to wear a mask. It was torturous to wear a mask to go get groceries. It was torturous to go get things for Thanksgiving. It was just, it was bad. Let's just put it that way. I had breathing complications. I would sneeze. I had all kinds of respiratory issues after I had to be in the mask. It seemed to be worse after I've been in the mask because of the congestion that I was already battling and everything. So, and if you don't wear a mask, they'll ask you to leave. Because before the mask mandate and the curfew, they said every establishment has to have someone posted at the door to make sure that someone comes in their facility, their place, and they have to have a mask on. But here's the thing. Here's what I've noticed going to these places, that they'll hand you a mask at the door and you'll put it on until you can get in. But I've seen so many wandering around when they're in the store without the mask on. The stores aren't policing the people saying, hey, you need to put your mask back on, but you have to have one on to come in. So people are finding the loopholes because people are not regulating and mandating these things. So what is their full benefit? Other than the fact that if it is spread by any communal air antigens, that yes, it will slow it down. But where's the proof that it's spread by the air? Fully. And that may have its properties of being airborne. I'm not going to take that away from it. But where's the isolated scientific evidence that supports that it's airborne antigens only that do this? And I've done a lot of research in all this. It's not there. There's a lot of evidence about what the virus is, and people end up in a hospital for it, and this, that, and the other. But what about people like me that didn't go in the hospital? I didn't have a doctor to support my battling it. I didn't have pharmaceutical treatment to get through it. I fought COVID-19 with pharmacy drugs over the counter to get through COVID-19. So basically it was reminiscent to a common cold, but with a few mutations. And I will talk about some more things in my next video, because I read a few things that kind of bugged me about some things that I'm not going to talk about right now. But I get wearing the mask because it's what's deemed the route to take to keep everybody safe. And I support it. I wear my mask. I have to wear my mask, because if I don't, I can't go in some establishments because they say, hey, you gotta wear a mask. I can tell them all day long I've already had it. But still, if there is a second strain, I don't need the second strain of COVID either. So I still have to follow the mask mandate. But if they're gonna make such strict, stringent laws, then they need to follow them through with policy in the establishments. But they also need to have the backing to say, okay, we have support and proof. I don't see Mandy Cohen on her update saying that they have this proof. All they show is statistics on the numbers are rising, the cases are rising. I get it. It's the holidays. People want to get together, and now you're telling them they can't. And you've already kept them away from each other for 9 months this year already. And I know this video is getting long and probably y'all done checked out, but if you got this far, please leave a like below and comment, you know, what you feel about it. I mean, I'm 50-50 with it, but now that I've had, like I said, both sides of it, it may have its benefit in 50% of the cases, but what about the other percentage of the cases that they get it by other ways? Because it's just one of those, I don't know. This virus is so new and nobody knows fully what's going on with it. There's not enough information about it, but there's enough mass hysteria, manifested fear behind the media, behind the government, that they're wanting to cripple the people with fear to basically say, hey, we're going to take control and do what we need to do, what we deem necessary. And that's essentially placing us, I feel like, in a role of conservatorship. They say where you can go, they say where you can't go, they say basically if you can work or not. So they're managing your money, because if you're laid off work, they then have to give you money through unemployment, food stamps, any other government regulated operated thing that would help benefit the people while they're out of employment. So there's a big shift in the role of the government, whether it is the people, and we need to be careful of that, and we need to pray, because the more and more that they chomp away at our rights and our freedoms. Now, they say that they're doing this under the umbrella that it's for the mass population health concerns. Okay. Is it that, or is it the fact that you want to blame everything on something? That way you benefit monetarily from something that you're going to blame it on, and then pass the buck. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of things there's a lot of undercurrent of the government that I'm watching. There's a lot of undercurrent of this promotion of a vaccine. There's a lot of undercurrent of their forceful nature of taking and telling us we have to do certain things, and if we're not careful, we're going to be pigeonholed and put in a position where we're going to be puppets and on their timeline and on their stream of things. These are my opinions. You can comment down below. We can have a discussion. I'm up for debate. If you have a different view and you've got backing of it, show me. I'll listen to you. I'm willing to listen. I could have died, yes. But what would have been said if I died of COVID-19 at home? Because I didn't have a daughter. I don't have health insurance. I don't have access to some things. You know? I mean, it's just a lot to think about. Y'all please pray for this country. Pray for the country's leadership. Pray for each other. Stay safe. Do whatever you can. Yes, wear a mask. And yes, wash your hands. Because your hands could probably be the main vehicle for this bad boy that we need to get a hold of and get a handle on. And like I said, I know this video is long, but this is my vlog. This is what I wanted to get off my chest, and I will do another one probably later on in the week as it relates to what I'm finding about the government backings of this virus, vaccination, and things like that. But be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see you guys in my next video, and we'll see what we're going to talk about then. Bye.